Hello and welcome to Football Today podcast. I'm Derek. I'm here with David and Charles. We're here to talk about game week 2, new rules that are in the leagues now, more stuff about Barcelona and that whole shenanigans. And then at the very end, we'll go ahead and cover our predictions for most of the major competitions. We'll see how far we'll get with that though. But all right, guys. Quick comments, David. How are you feeling about this week so far with football?
It's been a mess, man. Some crazy games, and then another set of unexpected results. Like I didn't expect Manchester United to lose again, but anyway.
Yep. Charles, quick thoughts about the week?
Crazy week. I don't see how Barcelona was able to register the players, but something happened. Somebody caved and allowed them to. But crazy week, and we'll get to it here in a bit.
That's for sure. All right, let's just jump straight into it. With game week 2 overview. You guys just want to go straight in Premier League, or who you guys want to start first?
Let's do it.
All right, let's do Premier League. So, starting off game 2 week with Saturday. I think the big notable games was Arsenal 4-2. Arsenal against Leicester was 4-2. With Gabriel Jesus coming in clutch for Arsenal. Obviously big signing for Arsenal. Came in, got the first 2 goals of the game. Then Xhaka and Martinelli got a couple lucky ones later in the game to seal the deal. But your guys' thoughts on impact of Jesus at Arsenal?
I have a lot of thoughts on this one, actually. They're going to be talking about this, and then as long as Arsenal continues to do well, they're going to be talking about this for the next couple of weeks and months. What a signing it was, how he plays differently under Arteta than he did under Pep, which is crazy because Arteta learned under Pep, but he moves differently. They're using him very effectively. What worries me is that right now, what major differences are there from last year's Arsenal team? Sure, they have Zinchenko and Gabriel, but like if Jesus goes down, what are they going to do? They're going to be the same Arsenal team as last year, which was all right, but it wasn't fantastic. So I'm worried that it's what would you say, like they're doing well, but they're not exactly, their bench isn't super deep in certain crucial positions. So good job for Gabriel, but they really need to be careful with how much they expose him, and are they developing other players? Like once his hot streak goes down, is someone else going to step up? Is Martinelli going to be able to fill those scoring boots? I don't know, because Jesus is really putting on a show.
Yeah. I don't know. Like how I view it is, I view it as like they're a video game player on FIFA. They got like all the best forwards and like no good like center backs, and then they got like one good wing back or whatever. But like that's pretty much it. So like how I see Arsenal's season going, and it's going so far, is they have to outscore the competition because their defense still sucks. So they're going to let in goals like no matter what. It's going to be multiple goals every single game, I think. I think they're going to be struggling really hard for clean sheets. And their goal difference is going to be really wonky because, like I said, I think they're going to score a lot of goals, but they're going to let a lot in too. Charles, thoughts?
Yeah, Arsenal, I kind of similar. And what David was saying with Jesus coming over, you know, Arteta, is that the guy? Yeah, he being under Pep, maybe Jesus got along with him better than Pep, and maybe they had a better relationship. I kind of see that as why he moved, going, hey, I like this guy, I played well with him. I like his style compared to Pep. I'm moving. And maybe he feels more free. Maybe he doesn't feel more.
Yeah.
Because I kind of know how Pep is when he used to be at Bayern. At first, everybody was excited. Oh, this is new. Oh, he's particular and all this. after a few years, guys like Ribery and Mueller and they were just like, you know what, this guy's tiring. We're done. I'm an experienced player. I'm tired of him critiquing my every little footstep, and I twisted here wrong, and maybe he gets more freedom at Arsenal under Arteta than he did, being critiqued all the time under Pep. So.
Well, also his movement has been different. Pep is very like his attacking zones are very specific,
Yes.
and so allowing Jesus to move around is a big thing.
Yeah.
To add on to what Derek was saying, though, they're when Arsenal has the ball, they've been doing great, but around the second half, each game they've been getting tired, and they haven't been able to keep up the pressure to recover the ball, and so they lose possession and they lose control of the game. Like both games, they were up and they should have finished it basically, but they're not Man City, and so they can't keep up the possession and the pressure. While Man City can just, someone's not doing well, someone's tiring, they sub in another really great player, and even their starters are just world class. Like Rodri, fantastic defensive mid. Shaka's not there. I think that there's deep problems at Arsenal that are being hidden by how they're scoring, and it's not a bad thing what they're doing, but it's just it's they're not proving to me, just like Derek said, that they can actually do it, because you let in that many goals and it's going to be problematic in the long run.
Yeah.
Well, it's like, the old saying goes, it's a marathon, not a sprint.
Yeah.
They don't have depth on the bench, so right now they're sprinting out. But how long could that last through a long season?
Yeah, if Liverpool and Man City can't hold that sprint, then no one can.
Yeah, yeah.
Yep, exactly. And on the top of Man City, that's the next game, 4-0. Sorry, over Bournemouth. Haaland didn't get a goal this game, but he got an assist. And then Kevin De Bruyne just back at it, doing Kevin De Bruyne things. So Man City looking as deadly as ever. Yeah, David, thoughts on Man City?
People are going to critique Haaland if he doesn't score every single game. Guess what? He is a handful. That assist that he gave for was it Gundogan's goal?
Yep.
Good just one. Absolutely incredible. What it held off the guy so good. Oh, he was falling and just put the pass right into Gundogan's path, and I couldn't believe it. It required so much strength, and then he's such a menace on so many parts of the field. I don't know. I just like most people that watch him, I'm in awe. So until he breaks down and proves he's not human, I'm gonna keep saying he's inhuman. And you don't have to score 14 goals a game or 9 goals a game, like whatever that one was that he actually did, for him to be remarkable. He is absolutely crazy. And as the season goes on, we're just gonna see more and more of him. So those are my thoughts on Haaland. I have more thoughts on the game, but those are my thoughts on Haaland.
Yeah, he's like you said, he's an incredible player. We saw him at Dortmund and what he could do. And like you said, he's not going to score every game, but what he does with his passing and his footwork and his speed, he'll draw defenders to him, which will open up other players that have the opportunity to get those scoring opportunities. So I think all in all, it's going to even make Man City more potent.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, just watching that game, like, I think everybody expected Lukaku to do what Haaland is doing right now, because he did that at Inter Milan 2 seasons ago. He's just destroying Serie A, holding up play, like completely holding up like the biggest center backs in the game, and then comes to the Premier League and flops. But I think there was a really high expectation for Haaland to maybe flop as well.
He's so young.
Yeah, one, he's so young, and so that makes him not as experienced as like a Lukaku or Lewandowski or something like that. But I mean, he's just come in and just taken the Premier League by storm and is just running with it. So, yeah, David, thoughts on the game?
Yeah, first of all, you mentioned De Bruyne, absolutely incredible. You can't underrate him ever. Secondly, I've mentioned this before, but Gundogan is an incredible player who was injured for much of his first couple of seasons under Pep, and he is finally breaking free and playing the way that he should be. He's getting into attacking positions like nobody. He just sneaks right in and is in the exact right spot at the exact right time. He's not one of those guys that's constantly going to be in the attacking position. He's only there when he needs to be, and he'll score. And it's incredible. So players like him, I guess it makes sense. Like Pep Guardiola is like figuring out who his players are that are going to work hard for him and not complain. So Jesus is out and Gundogan stays and will be a bigger part of the team. Like Gundogan was always going to be a big part of the team, but it's just going to keep growing like that. Pep knows who he likes and what he wants, and he'll keep focusing on that. They slowly just rammed the game. Who were they playing against? It was Bournemouth. They just slowly rammed the game down their throat. They just said, we have the ball, we're going to control it, and we're going to put it away. And there's going to be other games we'll talk about where that didn't happen at all, where the team should have won or done something, and they couldn't put it away. And Man City said, we're too good, we're going to get chances, and we're going to finish it.
Yeah. So, Man City looking, like I said, deadly as ever. And, I mean, we'll make some comments and predictions, but there are like game 2, and they're already looking like they're running away with the title again. So, but we'll get there. All right, next big game, for Premier League this weekend was Brentford 4, Manchester United 0. I have one player to mention, David De Gea. Like, what are you doing, man? Like, two of the goals were gifts by David De Gea. Like, completely, like, utterly just knock it down the field. That's all you gotta do is just punt it away. And instead, one of them, he passes it to Eriksen, who's under pressure from arguably 2 to 3 players, and gets bumped off the ball, an easy goal. And the other one, De Gea just passes it to that guy, and there's a free goal right there. So, crazy scenes at Manchester United. Yeah, David, thoughts?
So that first goal that you were mentioning with David De Gea.
We have no audio on you, David.
Even now? Okay.
Yeah, got you now. Yep, we're good.
Okay, I think my internet just had a little crash, so hopefully there might be a delay, but then I'll catch back up.
Okay.
That first goal with David De Gea was exactly like the 2014 World Cup, where I think it was Netherlands were just taking shots on Spain, and everyone was like, "Is David De Gea actually not a good goalie?" In certain instances, he's not. He'll just let the ball go in, and I think that's what happened here. Like, just long range shots that he should easily get. Don't. He's an incredible shot stopper at acrobatic shots. But just low, hard shots, he gets found out.
Yeah. Charles, thoughts?
Ten Hag has work to do. And I mentioned this, before we started the program, talking to Derek, and it's like, I feel sorry for him. We know what kind of manager he is, what he did at Ajax and everything. He's a great manager. He has the strategies and the tactic know-how to win. Just, I don't know if it's the players he has or management in the players. I don't know, but he's going to have to figure something out before they're way, way too far behind, or even deeper trouble than that. They're 20th right now. And I know it's only 2 games in, but he has to figure something out. And he was so upset that he canceled the day off for him. So day off, it's training the whole week.
So, quick tactical analysis of the first goals. They were trying to play it out of the back. The other what was the team again? I keep forgetting who they played against. Was it? It wasn't Brentford, was it?
Yeah, it was Brentford.
Okay, they just knew that if they pressure them, because Ten Hag, like you were saying, great manager, but he wants to play it out of the back. Guess who you have? You have Maguire. You have a couple other players like on the wings that they were not giving them options. They didn't even have to pressure everyone like Brentford didn't have to like pressure the whole line because the wings were making it easy. It was just poor on Man United's parts for creating the opportunity for to get it out of the back. It was unbelievable. Brentford did really well. They did their homework, but it wasn't like the Man United made it hard on them. You can't play it out of the back when you only have one option. The other team knows what that one option is, basically.
Yeah. And talking about that one option, Cristiano Ronaldo walked off the field, did not even look into the face of Ten Hag. Didn't talk to any fans, just walked straight off. And now there are rumors that Man United is going to cancel his contract. So that's floating in the air. Who knows if that will happen? And then because of that, there's a rumor that he'll be going back to Real Madrid.
So listen to
final seasons.
The previous game, Manchester United's like, okay, we don't have a striker. We'll play Christian Eriksen up top as a number 9, a false 9. That didn't work. So they moved him back into deep lying mid to help move the ball around. And they put Ronaldo up top to push Brentford's back line back. That didn't work. Guess what? Neither of those guys are strikers. And they're like, so you're trying to cancel the closest thing you have to a striker, though, his contract. Who are you gonna get? Like I don't think there's anyone on the market right now that's good. So
Nope.
Sure, get rid of Ronaldo. I'm not saying that he's helping the team, but guess what? The rest of the team is the problem as well. And if he's angry at Ten Hag, that's only because striker's not where Ronaldo should be playing, but it's not Ten Hag's fault. So
yeah. Like where's Bruno Fernandes? Like what is he doing? Like he was their star player for the last 2 years now, even with Ronaldo on the team. The one scoring all the goals, and like even the last half of last season and now this season, he's totally disappeared, not even doing anything on the field.
So the other thing, I know Ronaldo was really angry when I think Brentford played it out of their back, and then the one he was really angry at was when they just crossed it right in front of the goal to like the one open man, and like no one was there to defend.
Yeah.
But the beautiful play that Brentford made, playing it out of the back, just like turning it and crossing it upfield to where, like on the edge, where they knew where the player was running. That beautiful pass to the man going on, and Luke Shaw basically was trying to tackle him. Like when I say tackle, I mean like American rugby tackle or something. It was incredible. I can't believe like Brentford outplayed them, out-hustled them. Man United, you got to put pressure from the front or from the back or anywhere. You got to do something.
Yeah, crazy scenes happening with Manchester United recently. We'll see if Ten Hag can even fix anything. If they have to, I don't even know what they have to do. Like the transfer window's still open for another 2 weeks, but I doubt they're gonna get anybody else. So we'll
real
see
quick,
how
like Newcastle comes into all their money. Who do they get? They just get Premier League players from second-rate Premier League teams. That's all Manchester United has right now. Like with like the couple of weeks they have, they're not going to be able to go and get like an Mbappe or something. Or I don't know if like Liga's window's still open, but I'm just saying that like that's called bad planning. That's why Newcastle United, despite all the money, isn't actually taking the steps they need. Manchester United is in the same boat. With all the money, guess what they need? They need new center backs. They need new center mids. Fred isn't doing it. They need a striker. That's a whole team. I'm sorry.
Yeah. Don't get me started on Harry Maguire. Like honestly, but like when I hear Manchester United, the only thing I think of is that meme, and I hear just Harry Maguire, and it's him scoring an own goal or him doing something crazy, like crazy times. All right, not last game of the weekend. This last game today on Sunday, Chelsea versus Tottenham. What a game! What a crazy game. So Chelsea going into it, 20 minutes in, from a cross from Cucurella. Koulibaly hits it off the cross on the volley to lower right hand corner. Like what a way to debut your home game their home crowd with a crazy goal like that from a center back. Like, nuts. It reminds me of last season with Trevor Chalobah. His first home game, he hit a 35-yarder into the top right-hand corner on his first home game as well. Also center back. So, for some reason, like, brand new center backs in Stamford Bridge just get their first goal on their debuts. I don't know where it is. But yeah, Koulibaly gets that first goal. Then Højbjerg in the 68th minute. So after halftime, Chelsea totally dominating the game, controlling the game, multiple chances. Right before Højbjerg's goal, Havertz is on a run. I want to cover this. Havertz is on a run. He's going down the right. And I can't remember if it's Ben Davis or hold on. Yes, it's Ben Davis. Yeah.
No, it was the Uruguayan from Juventus. It was what's his name? The midfielder, the center mid. Why can't I remember?
Where's Ben Davis?
Okay, whatever. Go with it.
Yeah. Anyway, Havertz running down. This guy comes from behind, slide tackles him, catches his right foot in front of the sideline ref and the fourth official, and Anthony Taylor had a clear view of it, calls it off, and then he crosses it. No, he pings it in. He gets passed around a little bit, and then Højbjerg ends up getting a clear shot, puts it in the corner. And now the game is the game tied? Yeah, game's tied. Yep. Then Chelsea come back, make a really good move. Reece James out in the open. Sterling really being unselfish, makes the obvious pass. Reece James right down the middle for the goal. And then some antics during the end there. Right before the corner kick where Harry Kane scores the 96-minute goal. The center back, I get his name right here, Romero.
Yeah.
The Argentinian Romero is being marked by Cucurella in the corner before the winning header. And he pulls on Cucurella's hair, pulls him straight down, right in Anthony Taylor's face. Like when you see the clip, like you see Anthony Taylor looking at the incident right there, and like Mike Dean is the VAR assistant ref, and nothing happens. They just let go on another corner, and then this happens. Harry Kane gets a glancing header, and then it takes an unlucky deflection off of, or barely a deflection off of Reece James' knee for the tying goal. Then there's multiple instances with Antonio Conte and Thomas Tuchel. You guys can't see, but I got a picture up here for the audience. I'm sure everybody's tracking what was going on. After the Højbjerg goal, Antonio Conte gets in the faces of some of the Chelsea staff members. Tuchel defends his staff members getting in his face. Then after the game, they went to shake hands. Tuchel held on to Conte's hand and pretty much almost started a brawl there. So, in instant rivalry, which is classic Chelsea versus Tottenham, especially recent years. But yeah, crazy game. Thoughts, David?
Yeah, this was an incredible game, and I have too many thoughts to go. First of all, I love Tuchel's strategy of putting Reece James in the back to cover Son. That was a great strategy. Also, I think Chelsea definitely deserved to win it. One of my main thoughts for this week has been what horrible decision making in front of goal. There's been so many opportunities for players to just tap it to the wide open player, and then it's an immediate goal. This is one of the only times where I've actually seen it occur. So when oh my gosh, what can I think of his name? Sterling.
Yeah, Dave, we can't hear you if you're talking. So try to rejoin us if you can. But yeah, I don't know if you caught the highlights, Charles. Do you got thoughts on the game?
Yeah, I caught some of the highlights, and like you said earlier, Chelsea. I mean, it was back and forth, but Chelsea pretty much dominated that game. Tottenham's a good team; they're not a great team yet, you know. Um, Chelsea dominated that game, and it should have been a Chelsea win. And I agree. I watched the interview with Tuchel after the game, and I agree with him 100%. That I don't know what's with these refs. Do they not like Chelsea, or do they not like Tuchel? I don't know what it is, but those were blatant. Everybody could see it on TV, and that's what. I'm not a big fan of VAR. I think it should be left to the refs on the field. I'm old school, but this is why we ain't supposed to have
Yeah.
VAR.
Mm-hmm.
And it failed miserably in this game, miserably, and that's the issue I have with VAR. I mean, everybody can see it. I don't know if they're looking at different pictures than we are. I don't know,
I mean,
but
what other pictures are you be looking at?
I don't know. That's my point. It's like the guy grabbed his hair. How do you not see that? It's plain as simple, plain as day.
Yeah.
And I don't understand what the ruling from the VAR ref not rule on it.
I don't know if this has anything to do about it, but just listening to the commentary during the game and after the game, they were talking about if it was like violent misconduct, and I'm like, what does violent misconduct have to do with anything? Like it doesn't like. I don't think there's a scale of like how hard he pulled his hair down. Like he pulled his hair and dragged him to the ground. Like that's a foul.
That's a foul. Yeah, exactly.
Like, so there's pretty sure there's 2 confirmed superstitions with this new season of Chelsea now. One, no one ever is going to wear the number 9 shirt for Chelsea ever again. We might as well retire it. 2, Anthony Taylor is being bribed by somebody to throw Chelsea games. So those are the 2 big Chelsea superstitions that are pretty much confirmed.
Quick question: was Sterling playing the 9 or like the up top?
He was playing off of Havertz.
So Havertz was up top. Okay, the lineup that I saw showed Sterling up top, and I thought that was strange because I thought they were pretty much Havertz is the striker.
No. Havertz is our 9. It's just Sterling moves around a little bit, obviously depending on the opponent, who we're playing. But I mean, it's mainly we have because Mount's basically a left forward too, and so we have Sterling move basically as a right forward. But both of them like drop center, and then Havertz just stays up top. But yeah, crazy game. Upcoming Premier League game to finish off week 2 is tomorrow night at 3:00 Eastern time is Liverpool versus Crystal Palace. So don't forget to catch that, guys. All right, let's keep moving through the leagues. Let's go to Bundesliga now. Let me get there. Charles, what was the big games or big matchups this weekend for the Bundesliga?
There was a few. I mean, obviously, everybody always talks about Bayern. They played Wolfsburg, which was kind of interesting because Kovac is back, but not as the Bayern manager. He's Wolfsburg manager. He left Bayern and
kind of a non-homecoming.
Went to Mojo for a few years, and now he's back in the Bundesliga. So it was really cool to see because the fans really treated him. They gave him a standing ovation. There was signs, welcome back and all that. So that was really touching. But as far as the game was concerned, Wolfsburg, they started off hot. Maybe the first 5-10 minutes of the game, they caught Bayern off guard a few times. But then Bayern took control. It was a 2-0 win for Bayern. Pretty much a domination after the first 5 or 10 minutes of the game. One of the highlights of Musiala. This kid is phenomenal, and he could end up being on. If he keeps this up, he'll be another Bayern superstar like Mueller and Lahm and Schweinsteiger. He'll pretty much play his whole career there if he keeps this kind of stuff up. And basically, he has free range right now. He scored goals last week, this week, and he's on fire, and he's loving it too. The other one is Leipzig. They drew Köln 2-2.
Yeah,
And
there's a lot of draws in the Bundesliga this weekend.
yeah, I'm going to get to that here in a second. But the points about Leipzig and Köln is Timo Werner scored on his debut.
Yep.
Back in the
Only
Bundesliga.
days from being back from Chelsea. So
Yep, days being back from
already
Chelsea.
scoring.
Yep, and it was kind of, if you didn't see the game, it was kind of a lucky goal. I mean, he shot
it's
from
kind
like
of a
30
gift.
yards out, and
Yeah.
the keeper had it, and it squirted through his
It was like,
arms, and went in.
Yeah.
But hey, goal's a goal.
Yeah.
But then they blew it though. They let Köln back in it, and it ended up being a 2-2 draw.
Yeah.
Quick question about that one.
Yes.
Köln hasn't been very good for a few years. Are they good now, or is Leipzig just not playing well?
Leipzig lost players during the transfer. They got Werner back, but they didn't really do much in the market. So
Yeah.
I think they're trying to find their identity and play as a team, and I think they'll get it together. I just think it's going to take them a little bit. So
yeah, and they also had a red card in the first half. So
that's true too.
They're
They had a
fighting
red
with
card.
10 men the whole second half.
Yeah, so that could have been different too.
And then it had an own goal to tie it. So
yes, that's true. Yeah,
a lot of
at the
unfortunate
very
events.
end, it was an own goal.
Yeah,
Yeah.
Nakuku got the lead ahead goal. Just broke away and did his thing, and then unfortunate own goal.
Yeah,
towards the end.
And that's kind of been their luck this year.
Yeah.
So far in the short season. A lot of draws, like you mentioned. One of the big things was Bayer Leverkusen lost 2-1 to Augsburg.
To Augsburg, that was a statement.
Yeah, because everybody thought this year Augsburg was, again, like last year, like being the relegation fight. I think Augsburg was down there last year, barely got above the relegation and put Hertha Berlin in there for the promotion playoff. But Augsburg was supposed to be in the relegation mode this year, and even one of the teams picked to go down. But they knocked off Leverkusen 2-1, and they actually looked like they dominated when I was watching part of that game. And
yeah, but
Leverkusen's in trouble. I don't know what's with them, but they're bottom of the league right now, and they're a Champions League team almost every year in the Bundesliga, and they're like Man U this year. They can't figure. They're not playing bad ball though. It's just I don't know. They're not putting in the goals, or their defense is giving up goals. So
Yeah. So I mean, just like when you pull up these headlines or these games, and you're like, oh man, that's a crap ton of draws. Without watching the highlights, it has that Bundesliga feel.
Yes.
I don't know if like anybody else gets that. Like, oh, it's just a Bundesliga. Like, bunch of ties, doesn't really matter. But if you go in and you look at like the Werder Bremen Stuttgart game, like 95th minute, like tie, like tying goal, like crazy game. And then I think probably like one of the biggest games of the weekend was Schalke and Gladbach. Like that was a crazy game. I don't know if you guys saw the highlights of that one. Like 93rd minute pen to tie it up, and like it was a really good game.
Yeah,
lots of yellows, so really really competitive.
And that's what you were talking about earlier, was all the draws, and that was one thing I was going to discuss with the Bundesliga this week. Was I think the Bundesliga, out of pretty much all the leagues, is more parity. You take Bayern out. Everybody always thought, oh, Bayern domination, it's blah blah blah. You take Bayern out of the mix, they're a level above everybody. You go from number 2 to number 18. They're even.
Yeah.
And anybody can beat anybody on any given day, and I think that's kind of I don't know if you call it the problem with the Bundesliga, because dominated teams like Dortmund and Leipzig, they should be beating some of these teams like Köln and Schalke and all these. But the parity's there where you don't really have that in a lot of the other leagues. You have, 2 or 3 teams in La Liga. You have 4 or 5 teams in EPL, but then the rest are just like, I don't want to chumps, but kind of, because
Yeah.
they're going to get beat by these teams. Pretty much guaranteed. You might have an upset every once in a while, but they're going to get beat by these elite teams. Where in the Bundesliga, with the exception of Bayern, it's parity, and I think it makes it exciting. It doesn't make the league look good on the outside, but watching the games, it makes the games exciting to watch because you never know who's going to win or what's going to happen. And so, yeah, there's parity in that league, and it's just typical German football.
Yeah.
I think it's good for the league to have Schalke back in it, though.
Yeah, and Werder Bremen. And Werder Bremen, they did pretty good too.
Sure.
They drew also. But,
they got the 95th minute
comeback.
tie.
Another late comeback by Stuttgart.
So.
And then the other big story in the Bundesliga is what I call it the tale of the 2 Berlins. For many, many years, Hertha Berlin has been in the Bundesliga. Union Berlin has been down in the lower leagues. They came up about 3 years ago, something like that, and they made a few good transfers, and now they're up top. They're in the top 5 right now. And Hertha is hurting. Hertha was in promotion relegation playoff last year. They're expected to be down there again this year. And so it's kind of a weird twist of fates when everybody's used to Hertha Berlin being the dominant team over there. And now you got a newcomer in there up to the Bundesliga, and they're pretty much dominating. And they look actually good. Union Berlin looks really, really good. And they might, I don't know if they're good enough to be in Champions League top 4, but I think they'll probably end up in Europa Cup this year.
Yeah. On quick snippet on European competition. So I think that especially with the European Conference League, there's going to be a lot more emphasis on one, resting players, but more focus on those European competitions, because of all these teams that wouldn't be able to get into Europa League or Champions League, and now they're able to get in this Conference League. And so I think that contributes to some of the upstep in the players levels that wasn't there before, because they're there's this new league and it's a European league and we're playing against other European teams, so we're in European competitions. I think they think of themselves now as oh, I'm competitive, so I need to step up my game. Because I have to go play Manchester United, who's in the Conference League. Say that.
Yeah.
But yeah, if I don't know, Werder Bremen or something makes the Conference League, they're like, oh, I gotta go play Manchester United. I gotta be my top level playing against Ronaldo and De Gea and all these people. So, yeah, just a little snippet. We'll get there when we get to competition predictions. End of the show.
But right. Yeah, I also think that's why there's especially in the Bundesliga, I think that's why there's a lot of draws.
Mm-hmm.
They have good starting rotations, but I think a lot of these clubs don't have the depth. And so in the second half, they start subbing out because their starters get tired. It leaves some openings in the back, and you get more draws because everybody, lack of depth. But they're also, like you said, some of these teams are fighting for that new European Conference League, so they're pushing, I think, even harder than they would before.
Yep.
So,
all right, let's keep the ball rolling on game week 2. We'll probably go over a detail La Liga and do a skim overview and Serie A, and then we'll move on to our next topic. All right, David. La Liga, game week 1. This is game week 1 for La Liga, not 2. Take it away.
Yeah. So first of all, I've been having some technical difficulties, so if you can't hear me, let me know.
We got you.
But wow, what an interesting start. So Barcelona tied 0-0 with, I think, Rayo Vallecano, and It was an
Like
interesting
third year in a row or something like that.
yeah. So here's something I want to mention before I dive too deep. Barcelona played with a lot of their new players, and
Almost
what
all of them,
other team in the world? For this goes to my point from last week. What other team in the world can have a striker like? And I'm talking about striker. I don't mean wingers. A striker like Aubameyang and Lewandowski in the same team. That is unbelievable wealth, and that's only because they cheated the system.
Or
So I'm
or even like Memphis Depay's in there too. Like,
yeah.
come on.
But Aubameyang and Lewandowski are both top tier strikers for any club in the world.
Yeah.
And you're telling me that they have two of them? No other club has that.
Nope.
So that to me, and I'm talking about strikers. I'm not talking about wingers. I'm not talking about attackers. Like they also have really good wingers and attackers. But it's just to me, it just shows how cheating the system allows you to get that far ahead. It's just way too obvious in this scenario. So apart from all that, they did have a lot of possession of the ball. They had opportunities. They should have put it away. They didn't. That's on them. Rayo Vallecano fought hard and dirty, just like teams do, given that opportunity. And
Yep.
I think that it was deserved. The Sergio Busquets red card was in the dying moments or in like the end of the game. It didn't really affect the game. That was more just Barcelona was frustrated. Rayo was playing dirty-ish, and that's how it went. So that's that game. No regret. I don't feel bad. Anything that happens with Barcelona this year, I don't feel bad. They need to figure out they deserve everything. That's all. I don't want to be too dark, but they deserve everything they get. Real Madrid just played against who was it?
Almeria.
Say that again.
Almeria.
Almeria.
Yeah, Almeria.
And Almeria scored first. It was an interesting breakaway goal. First thing about Real Madrid, they played a lot of interesting players. They played a lot of the young players. Tucumani. I can't remember all the names, but like
Camavinga started. Tucumani.
Yeah. And then they had the classic Vinicius and Valverde on the right wing, which I'll get back to. Then they had Nacho and their signing from Chelsea. Why can't I think of his name? The center back. Rudiger start. So it was a bunch of interesting starters, like a brand new starting group, which is kind of interesting. You know, Benzema was still there. Courtois was still there. It was very interesting. Like I think the problem that I see with Real Madrid right now is Valverde has been playing right wing. That's not his position. He's playing that way to kind of offset the fact that Vinicius isn't going to get back. They're still playing a Ronaldo style, but without Ronaldo, with Vinicius as Ronaldo. He's a Swiss Army knife. He can play anywhere. He should be playing in the midfield. The right wing back or the right back, I can't remember his name at the top of my head. He had like the most attacks basically. He was always up in there. That's because he's a winger. He's not a right wing back or right back. He's another Swiss Army player. Nacho's the same. He was playing center back. I'm still here. Okay, Nacho's a center back. He's a Swiss Army player. He'll play anywhere. It's just a Swiss Army knife of a player. I don't know. Those are three really good players, but they're not like the best player in their position. It's just that's what they have. They did really good to get back. They should have scored more goals, so I don't think it's a negative. But they started playing a lot better once they put a bunch of their old team back in. It's just that you can't rely on that. You have to get those players going. Their right side is exposed. They need a real quality right back, as their right back's always a position of problems, and they got to get it figured out. So that's just a critique of Real Madrid. Yeah, if you guys have any comments, if you saw anything about that game.
Yeah, I just found it interesting that they stuck Alaba on the left side, not in for Nacho's center back with Rudiger.
Yeah, and that was actually another comment I was going to make, is that Alaba came in. First touch of the game was that free kick. Fantastic free kick. And
really good at those.
I find it so funny. He's done it a couple times. Just great free kicks. And that saved Real Madrid at least twice already in the past couple of months. which is funny because they should have more options. But yeah, I think that it goes to prove that they probably need a left back and a right back. I think they got Odriozola for the right back, but they just haven't put him in for some reason. I don't know.
Probably not fit.
I think Real Madrid just has bigger problems than they realize, and it's really hard to create that unity and everything new with a team that you don't realize that you need. Like, you think that people imagine that soccer is like FIFA, where you can get like 11 players and put them together. It's not like that. They're not going to have fantastic chemistry. They need to work it out. That's Manchester United's problem. They're a FIFA team. They're just good players that were picked up. Real Madrid. Yeah, Real Madrid is trying to do it right by buying players young and putting them in. But when you're always going really far into the Champions League, sometimes you feel like you always have to stick to the same players, and it's hard to insert new players and actually let them get. I don't know the right way to say it, but get them bled in, like get them.
Yeah.
They actually like do a fight. They make mistakes. They fix their mistakes, stuff like that.
Yeah, I think I don't know. They still have the feeling as last year.
Yeah.
For me, like they still have the 2022 season Real Madrid. But I don't know if they'll be able to pull off 3 or 4 late minute goals in Champions League games. So, but I mean, I don't know. I mean, it's only the first game, and it looked like they were trying a lot of things too.
Which I'm really
people in positions to see what would happen, and
you have to do that. You have to, when you have those new players, you got to make those experiments. One of the things that, because this is the first week for them, while the other leagues already had a week, what you saw is that these teams have been preparing for the first game for months now. So, like Rayo Vallecano was ready for Barcelona. Almeria was pretty ready for Real Madrid. The next week, and as it goes, it's going to be a lot different. Like, Real Madrid doesn't prepare for Almeria as much as Almeria prepares for Real Madrid.
Yes.
Stuff like that.
Yeah, that makes sense. All right. Charles, you have any comments about La Liga?
No, not right now.
All right. Let's keep moving. Skim over Serie A real quick. I saw that Lukaku got his first goal for Inter with their win over not pronounced
Lecce.
Lecce. There you go.
Lecce. Yeah, Inter had a rough time. Lecce, they just got promoted again back into Serie A, and they had a rough time. It took a late goal to win it for Inter, so they gave them a little bit of trouble. Like Dave was saying, Lecce had time to prepare for Inter. First game of the season. So I think that was their thing. Inter just didn't look like they were clicking the whole game. They looked sluggish. They didn't. It just didn't seem like their normal smooth style that they always did. So
all right,
gave them some trouble.
Okay. And then AC Milan won 4-2 over Udinese. Was it? Yeah, Rebic got 2 goals in that game, so he's off to a flying start with AC Milan.
Yeah. Roma beat Salernitano 1-0 today.
How'd that game go, Charles?
Yeah, Dybala, that was his debut with Mourinho in Roma, coming over from Juve.
Yep.
And he looked sharp. There was, a couple times he was a little bit selfish where he should have passed it off, but and other times he passed off that they almost scored. So he had a pretty good debut. In Roma, they looked, against a Salernitana team that really shouldn't have given Roma that hard of a time. But like I said, Roma had a lot of transfers this year, so it's a lot of new players learning each other and learning how to play. And so I think they were a little bit sluggish too, but they started coming on at the end and having more and more chances. So Roma's going to be tough. A lot of people, it's interesting. I've heard rumors a lot of people are picking them to win Serie A this year, and I'm like, I don't think they're quite there yet. I think, they're probably going to be Champions League top 4. But I don't think they're going to win the league this year. That's going to be a tough ask when you got AC Milan and Inter Milan above you.
Yeah. With
all the talent they have. And I know Mourinho, the genius, But
Well, I
The
was
the
laughing.
chosen one.
the
You were saying
chosen
you were
one.
saying that Dybala was playing with like a
But
certain amount of freedom,
you
but
know, things didn't work for him last year. That's why they had a good transfer season this year. I mean, I think they're going to be in Europa Cup or something like that again this year. So they weren't top four. So this year they're gunning for top four, so they can be Champions League next year. Another game was Fiorentina against another Cremonese, who's another one who just got promoted. Again, they were at home, experienced team, and they had to have a 90-plus minute goal to beat them, to beat another team that just came up from Serie B. So that was kind of a tough match for Fiorentina, but they pulled it out. Juve and Napoli haven't played yet. They play tomorrow. I think Juve plays Sassuolo and not trying to think. Napoli. Can't remember who Napoli plays tomorrow.
I just had it up. Hellas Verona.
Oh, Verona. That's right. Napoli should be able to win that one. Verona lost a few people in transfer. They're a decent team, but they're usually a middle of the pack team. And Juve, Sassuolo. Juve had some losses. I don't know really who they gained in transfer.
They
Sassuolo
gained
could
quite a
give.
few.
Okay, so Juve should win that one then, but they're at home. But Sassuolo, they could surprise you. They could give them a run.
Yeah. Cool. All right, let's keep moving on. So that wraps up our game week 1 and 2 review. So 1 for La Liga, 2 for everybody else. Now we're gonna move to the next section. We'll go over some of the new rules in the leagues and see which rules are different between the leagues as well. So just start now. I know the big 2 rule changes within the Premier League is one, the offsides rule for the line refs says that they were told, not encouraged, they were told to keep they were told for obvious offside decisions to put their flag up, not to keep it down, because a big problem with I know I've already seen it in a couple games already, is they'll keep their flag down and let the play go on, and then like either a goal happens or like not most of the time, some of the times like a player gets injured when that happens, when the play should have just been stopped at the offsides like right then and there. And I know with the World Cup they're integrating offside technology within the balls themselves. They're
Mm-hmm.
experimenting that in the World Cup. So depending on the World Cup, we might see those balls and that technology come into play in like the second half of the league seasons.
they should do that immediately. That's something that could improve the game so drastically.
Yeah. So I mean that's like the big one or one of the big ones for Premier League. The other one, I think this is probably a UEFA thing. I'm not sure. I haven't looked into it. Is the 5 sub rule. I've seen it in almost every league so far.
Yeah, the Bundesliga's doing it.
So
Yeah.
it might be a UEFA thing, but I think that this is probably like the one positive and like most influential rule change, but like besides VAR, and in the last like 5 to 10 years, is like the 5 rule or 5 sub rule, because like just in the Chelsea game, watching it today, like he brought on like Colin Gallagher and like Christian Pulisic and Borja, who played for Southampton last year on loan, and like those Pulisic was, out of those 3, like the favorite to get in there and probably get more game time. But like Conor Gallagher and like Borja are like, they wouldn't normally get game time or normally be like on the sub list, or like maybe even like make the team normally if there wasn't like a 5 sub rule. So I think this opens up the competition and the growth for a lot of players, and I think it's going to level the playing field for a lot of leagues.
I think that personally, my main thing with that is that these players already play way too many games. Just make sure that they, like, when they're dead tired, they're not like running so hard they're gonna pull a muscle and do something. I know that you're never gonna sub Mo Salah out or something like that, but all the other players, like, you can at least save them a little bit and make them play smarter, sub them smartly throughout the season.
Yeah. Thoughts on the rule changes, Charles? Or at least these two?
Yeah, it's interesting. I don't know if I like the 5 subs or not, but I guess it's okay because you have so much. These teams are paying these players so much money, and to get more transfer, money or worth out of your player, it's kind of nice to see more players being able to play and get off the bench instead of sitting on the bench for all the money they're getting paid. And it helps for these teams that are in all these competitions, if they're going to Europe or in the the World Cup coming up, so they're going to get more rest, and the ones that need more playing time are going to get more playing time to maybe so their national team coaches
too. Yep.
And
So I don't know if UEFA made the decision because of the World Cup to do the 5 sub rule.
Well, 5 sub rule came out last year for most leagues.
Yeah, well, because they integrated it temporarily because of COVID, because players weren't playing because of COVID at all. But I mean they voted on it this season to get it in, and I'm pretty sure they're gonna vote it on it next season. I gotta double check on that to see if the 5 sub rule is permanent or it's just gonna keep going to a vote, or they just voted in just because of the World Cup. But we'll look into that one. Dave, you still with us, or you zoned out there?
Oh, he might be frozen.
Yeah, I think he's frozen. Yeah, he's been having connectivity trouble. David will join us here in a bit as he gets reconnected. We're gonna keep moving. All right, we're back. We're going to talk about Barcelona and their whole fiasco. Like it says down there at the bottom, different players, but same Barcelona. Just as David talked about with their tie in their game 1. So last week we talked about how Barcelona, and David mentioned this as well, had these financial levers they were using to leverage their own future and potentially their own future success to have money now to lower their debt. I'm going to use this a lot in this commentary. To lower their debt, i.e. buy more players. And now we just learned this last week. A day before La Liga started, they registered all their players, all their new players. Well, not just all the new players. They registered all the new players plus Ousmane Dembele, and was it Busquets, or who else did they register, David?
Was it Frenkie de Jong or was it someone else? Hold on. I remember. Yeah.
It was all the new players and two of their regular contracts. One was Ousmane Dembele. I can't remember the other one. It's either Busquets or PK, one of the two.
Yeah, you're right. I can't remember.
But everyone except Koundé, which I find very ironic. So I don't know what he's going to do the whole season. or what's going to happen to him. Like they might have to like resell him, or I don't know.
I think there
We'll
have
to
been a
keep on
couple
that story.
situations in the past of players that could only play during the Champions League or something like that, and so they never played during their season. But it's still very strange.
Yeah, I don't understand how you can do that. You
I want to know
play a
how.
reserve team or something like that just to get minutes. I don't know.
How? Who? I mean, they're in this financial debt. Liga was playing hardball with them. Why did they allow him to register all the players?
It was never hardball. It was like a showdown. It was like, you do this, we swear that we'll stop you if you do that. And Barcelona was like, oh really? You're just gonna get rid of like the only other good team in the league right now? You're gonna tell us right now that it's gonna be Real Madrid versus Atletico?
You're gonna get rid of half your ticket revenue and half your shirt revenue, half your TV revenue.
Yep. And that's the answer I was coming up with. Liga backed down because one of the biggest brands in the entire world, they don't want to damage that because it'll damage the league. And it's all about money. So
always been
corruption top to bottom. I mean, they call it business. I call it corruption. You should have done what was right, not what was money in your pocket.
That's why, for me, it's not about La Liga. It's about the rest of everyone else. FIFA, UEFA, they have the leverage.
Yes.
La Liga doesn't, but everyone else has the leverage. And Barcelona, what are they holding over them? Oh no, you're not going to see Barcelona. Guess what? Barcelona's been going out in the round of 16 every time anyway. Or
exactly. Or going to Europa League. Like, and honestly, I think they're going to do the same thing this year. Like, just look at their first game. Like, what's changed? Ooh, they got Lewandowski. Ooh, they got Rafinha, who's a mediocre player. Chiesa, mediocre player. Like, they're not going anywhere.
This is their first game, like you said. Xavi has been like improving the team. They were in real trouble until Xavi took over.
Yes, they were.
True.
But I don't know if they'll be able to all of a sudden go back to be playing like 2010. No, they're gonna be improved. Like maybe these players will make a humongous difference. I don't know. Right now, like you said, the trajectory is on. Yeah, maybe eventually. So the thing about La Liga is like, if you eventually get there halfway through the season, you still have a chance, maybe not to win La Liga, but to be second or third playing the Champions League, and maybe you stay afloat in the Champions League. And you can get far. Maybe you can get deep.
Yeah.
I don't know. That's what bothers me. Just because that's the situation on a Liga doesn't mean that you should be rewarded for that. You should be incredibly punished. So maybe these players come together. Maybe they gel. Right now, the trajectory looks like they're still going to have like the Man United problem. Like seriously, like did they really think that buying all these players they would gel? Well, like Lewandowski, fantastic striker. Has anyone ever thought he was a Barcelona style striker? I don't think that's never been thought. They wanted him at Real Madrid back in the day. Real Madrid and Barcelona play very differently. So I don't know. This is kind of funny seeing like how are they all going to go together. We'll see as the weeks advance. It's just a mess though. I'm so irritated. I wasn't as irritated as you were, Derek, until like it started. Just like everyone started letting it slide through.
Yeah.
I thought there were some walls, some people were going to stand up and say things, and now I'm way more irritated than I think you are.
Well,
and
karma's a bee. That's all I gotta say.
They will be improved, but I don't know how far they're going to get in Europe. But one thing about Lewandowski coming from my team Bayern is he's a great league player. He's a great group stage player in Europe. Once Bayern started hitting the round of 16 or, the quarterfinals, he disappears because then you start playing more of the elite teams. They have great defenses. They start double, triple teaming him, whatever. And he's non-existent. You don't see him past the group stage. And that's where Bayern has trouble. I mean, when Bayern won the Champions League in 2020, it was Koeman that scored the goal. I think Lewandowski had like maybe one chance in the entire game. The rest of the time, he was non-existent. It was the rest of the team pretty much doing most of the scoring chances. And so, I mean, statistically wise, he's a supposedly the best striker in Europe or best striker in the world right now. We'll see with Holland coming up. But I don't know because he disappears when you start playing the great teams. So we'll see how he does at Barcelona.
Let me make a quick parallel. So when Cristiano Ronaldo went from Real Madrid to Juventus, their Juventus game plan up until that point had been, let's grab young players and bring them up. They would get good players, but they were mostly trying to build a long-term team. And then out of nowhere, they bought Cristiano Ronaldo. They leveraged their future, not in the same way that Barcelona did, but they leveraged their future by spending all this money. And what happened? They did pretty well in the Champions League for a couple of years. They never really got it, and then Cristiano Ronaldo left, and they didn't have the team that they didn't have a team built anymore. And as you can see, this last season they lost a bunch of the pieces. So what's happening with Barcelona is Juventus on steroids. They're not just leveraging their next few years; they're leveraging their whole future. And if they don't win and
years.
win, yeah, if they don't win and they win big, these players are going to be gone, and they'll probably be gone sooner rather than later. These players don't equal the future. They have to win for these players to actually matter.
Yeah.
So the amount of stress on them and the fact that there's so many players, it's not just one they're integrating a whole bunch of players, different styles. Rafinha's like a good player, like you said, but like, so everyone thought that like Adama Traore, they were like, oh, Adama Traore is a great player. Like he did all right in Barcelona a couple of games, and then he didn't like carry the team.
Yeah, well, he came from Wolves. Yeah, and so like Rafinha is the same thing. He's coming from Leeds.
Yeah,
like he's not coming from like a top 4 team in Europe. He doesn't have a mid tier. Yeah. So he doesn't have that experience.
He has great potential, but that doesn't mean that he fit like even on a team like Barcelona. So my main point being that this is something on steroids that we haven't ever seen before.
No.
And people are saying, look at all these great players. They're going to do well. Maybe, could be. Guess what? They can't just do well. That's not enough. Yeah. They have to smash it. They have to destroy it.
They have to win everything.
Bring tons of revenue and be able to sell these players. They can't sell. I don't think they're going to sell Lewandowski for anything at any point.
Oh no! But all their new contracts are $1 billion fees. So.
Yeah, but they can. I think you can probably negotiate. Like if they wanted to negotiate, they can negotiate it down. It's just that they can't buy out the player.
Yeah.
Yeah, because I mean, if they're not going to do well and they're not winning, that's not going to fly. They're going to sell them just to get rid of them so they can get more money to buy somebody else that hopefully can win it for them. So,
yeah, but guess what? They're in an even deeper hole at that point.
Yes, exactly.
They're going to sell more of their future rights or whatever.
Exactly.
Yeah, their debt's still there. Everything's still there. So it's just. It's an absolute, I think, ridiculous move that they're basically just daring someone to stop them, and no one did. And now we're gonna have to see it play out unless there's like legal action taken. And if it doesn't play out spectacularly for Barcelona, it's not gonna be good.
It's just normal European politics, whether it's regular politics with governments or this. Europe is the same. They're weak. They talk a tough talk, but when it comes down to it, they get pushed over and they won't do anything. And that's in life in general in Europe. With all the
Charles bringing the big talk.
Yeah, that's true. I mean, they're kind of like the United Nations, talk to talk, but we're not. When the push comes to we're going to back off. Sorry,
Yeah. Well, all right. Let's move to this last section here, where we're going to talk about and give our predictions for these competitions that we have been talking about. So, let's start out. Let's go Premier League first. Start out, Charles. Who you have win the Premier League? So first, let's do who's gonna win it, and then who's gonna come in the next 3. So 1 through 4.
1 through 4. Right now, I'd have to say Man City's going to win it. Kind of similar to last year. Liverpool be in second. I think Chelsea will be in third. And kind of out of the blue, I think if they can if they're not sprinting, if their depth can hang in there, I think Arsenal could come in fourth. That's going to be a battle between, I think, Arsenal and Tottenham for that fourth position. But I say Man City, Liverpool, Chelsea, top three.
All right, David, go ahead.
Was it first and fourth, or was it first through fourth?
First through fourth, yeah.
Okay. So first of all, my question is, are we going to do this every week, and as it changes, you'll track us and you'll point out how wrong we were?
Yeah, we can do that. Let's do it.
Yeah, I still have Man City. So Man City, Liverpool. Gosh, I want an underdog for third, but it's going to be hard to say. So I still say Chelsea. Actually, I had called Arsenal second earlier, didn't I? Oof. You know that Arsenal's playing Man United next week. That's gonna be where like I actually see out, or not Arsenal, not Liverpool is. Anyway, Man United's in trouble. Anyway, so let's say Man City, Arsenal, Chelsea. Dang it, Liverpool, Chelsea. Yeah, dang it. I feel bad. Sorry, I don't mean to put Chelsea forward.
I do not see Arsenal getting anywhere. Honestly, I think they're gonna flop. Like they normally
I said it earlier, so I feel like I need to keep going back to the well. But yeah, they're definitely gonna flop. I'm way off.
Yeah, I don't think my Blues have it in them this year. Just because we're gonna be in rebuilding phase this year and next year, and maybe the year after. I don't know. Because a lot of our defenders are old, so we gotta get brand new defenders next year too. Which we tried to get this year, and Barcelona happened. So, but yeah, I think Man City, Liverpool, Chelsea. I'm gonna put Tottenham fourth though. I think Tottenham's gonna come back up there. So, all right, let's move to Bundesliga. Charles, who you got for Bundesliga?
Is there a question? Do I hear a question? There's no question.
There's no question.
I'm gonna say it until somebody steps up to challenge him, and nobody has. Everybody talk Dortmund, Leipzig, and they both do great the first half of the season, and then I don't know what happens. The second half of the season, I don't know if they run out of steam because they don't have enough depth. I know there's injuries issues last year with Dortmund. But Bayern's going to win it until somebody challenges them. Second is going to be a battle between Dortmund and Leipzig. And I think Mönchengladbach will probably be in fourth.
Okay.
Yeah. Bayern, I put Leipzig as second and Dortmund in third. Yeah. I think Leipzig has more young talent that I know they got picked apart a little bit, but they have some really good guys still.
Yeah.
Well, they just got Raum from Hoffenheim. He's a German international who everybody touted him to go to Dortmund. They already penciled him in, and he signed with Leipzig. And I read an article. It's good. He kind of talked to Hansi Flick, the Germany head coach, saying, hey, you probably get more playing time, and it's kind of a better club right now to have a chance at playing in the World Cup. So, and he even mentioned that. So,
yeah,
that was a good signing. Besides Werner, that was a good signing for Leipzig.
Yeah, so most of the transfers this season, which were a lot of big player moves, were because of the World Cup to get playing time.
Yeah,
so. Yeah. So I don't really have a choice for fourth, though. I could roll the dice and choose any of them. But you were saying that like the second through the bottom in Germany had parity. I think that Leipzig and Dortmund still have enough to come out in the top four. I just don't.
No, yeah. I'm just saying they're closer together. But
yeah,
you always count Dortmund and Leipzig are always going to be in the top four.
Yeah,
it's just challenging for the championship. And,
yeah,
it's ridiculous.
Yep. All right, so yeah, me obviously Bayern first. I think Leipzig's going to take second. I think they're going to overcome Dortmund and take second. Then Dortmund third, and I agree with you too. Gladbach for fourth. So that's why I think it's going to roll out in Bundesliga.
Cologne, my ancestors are from near Cologne, so I wish they would do well, but I just don't think they'll be up there.
They're off to a fine start, so we'll see.
They look better. They look better than
Yeah.
last year, but they're usually like a middle of the roader.
Yeah.
Last year they did pretty good. I thought they finished like 7th or 8th, so they were kind of up there. So I figure they'll finish around the same place.
That's my expectation. Yeah.
Yep. All right, let's jump to La Liga. David, you start first.
Yeah. Guess what? Barcelona's not there, so that means Real Madrid. Atletico. Barcelona will be third, though. I would love it if Athletic Bilbao did well, but it's going to be tricky. Valencia or Villarreal probably is the actual call for fourth. But Athletic Bilbao has some really exciting players, so I'm going to call them, even though I just don't expect it. I cross my fingers. I love them.
All right, Charles.
Yeah, I think it's going to be Real Madrid again. Atletico second. I hate to say it, probably Barcelona third. I had a feeling to put them fourth, but I think some of these players are probably going to do better than what we think. So they'll probably come in third. And yeah, I agree. It's either Valencia or Villarreal coming in fourth.
Yeah, mine's pretty much the same. I can do Real Madrid first, Atletico second. I'm going to put Barcelona fourth, if not lower. But yeah, I definitely see Villarreal getting top 4 with Valencia right behind them. But yeah, we'll see.
That'd be kind of nice. I hope there's justice served this year, but with the quality players,
Champions League, no Champions League.
That's my hope.
That will be justice if they get no Champions League.
That's what I mean. I hope justice is served, but I don't know.
That honestly, that might put the nail in the coffin. That might put the nail in the coffin for Barcelona if they don't make Champions League, because they're losing a lot of money.
Well, not only that, but I bet like if they weren't doing well, all the people that were scared to take action would jump on the bandwagon too.
No Champions League, no Champions League.
Yeah. Yeah.
I'm hoping. I put him third just because Xavi's a good coach and they got a lot of talent. I don't know what's going to happen with that talent, but I agree with you. I hope they finish out of the top 4 as justice.
They have so many good young players too.
Yes. Yeah.
All right, quickly, Serie A. I don't expect 1 through 4. You guys can do like top 3 or whatever way you want. Charles, you can start first.
I think it's going to be a tough one. Like I said, there's a lot of predictions saying Roma, but I don't think they're there yet. I'm picking Roma for third. It's going to be a battle between the two Milans again. AC Milan looks pretty good. They looks like they started off the way they left off last year. So I think I'd have to say AC Milan just edging Inter, but it's a long season. But they're going to finish 1-2. Roma third, and then it's going to probably be a battle between Juve and maybe Napoli. But Napoli lost a lot of people. They got to prove it to me. They might end up being Europa Cup. But a dark horse to look out for top 4 would be Fiorentina. I think they're going to look good this year, so they might squeak in. I know they're one of my Italian teams too. They might squeak in the top 4, but at least the top 3, I'm pretty much solid. 4 through 6, I'm a little shaky.
All right, David.
I think AC then Inter, and I was going to say that Juve was going to get third, and like everyone's going to freak out because if Juve doesn't win, everyone's going to freak out. But
yeah,
I hope Fiorentina gets there, and I feel really bad for oh my gosh, what's the Atalanta, because they should be doing better, but they're not going to.
Well, they lost players and they didn't really gain anybody, so that's why they kind of fell down last year out of the top 4, and that's why they're probably not going to be top 4 this year either.
Yeah, I feel so bad for them though, because they're such a fun team to watch. But so I have AC, Inter, Fiorentina, Juve. I don't think Roma's even going to come in the top 5. My guess is that they combust and Mourinho goes.
Yeah. I don't know about AC Milan. I think Inter's going to make a comeback, and take the title. But I see AC Milan coming second, Juve third, and then I don't know. I mean, if Roma can get their act together, I can see them coming fourth.
They look. I mean, they struggled a little bit the first game, but they did look pretty good. I think it's all the new players they got have to mesh together. You know, and Inter, I agree. That's what I said. Mine was a close gap. It could be Inter AC Milan. I think they're only maybe a point or two apart, so it's gonna be a battle between those two to win it.
Yeah. Well, two things. One, oh my gosh, what's his name? The Swedish giant.
Zlatan?
Zlatan, thank you. He promised that AC would do better and better. So I'm going to take him at his word. He's never been wrong.
I'm pretty sure he's had his like third ACL surgery in his life. And he's going back to play too. So,
but have you seen him? What a monster! Anyway,
he's insane.
And then I always find it funny, like when players first start playing under Mourinho or he first takes over a team, they play a certain way, and then as the more and more they play under him, they lose they lose thought. They play more robotic. They just, it's no longer so something happens where they stop playing as free. Like they start playing free, they're like, oh, this is interesting, I just have to get back for defense. But then as time goes on, Mourinho keeps yelling at them to get back, and they stop playing free. So
yeah, it clicks like, oh, defense. Yeah, and then you're just moving and shifting the whole time. Yeah, I can see that.
Yeah.
All right, guys. So transition here. All right. Thank you, David. Thank you, Charles, for joining us. Like always, like the video, subscribe. Wait, over there. And we'll see you guys next time.